Hello, and welcome to another edition of Interpreters Reveal. Today, I'm here with the fabulous Jessie Tomlinson to give you a look under the hood of a relatively new platform, VerSpeak. Check it out.
And here we are on the VerSpeak platform. As you can see, plenty of screen space. In the center, of course, if there were a live broadcast in place, we would see that broadcast, the event, the speaker, their slides, and so forth. But since this is just a demo, we have this space. It doesn't really matter though, because what we're primarily interested in is what's down here on the bottom, that is to say, our control panel. Now, there are a couple of neat little features on this platform. One of them is this file thing up here. As we can see, the organizers of the event have in fact uploaded a file on VerSpeak, and in this case, I could simply download that file, or I can click through it here to learn more about whatever it is. In this case, we can see the system requirements. To get rid of it, all I do is go back to File, and I can see my speakers and my main event. Now, down here in the left-hand corner, I have a hotkey. This explains to me where I need to go and how I can handle, or how I can use, rather, the keyboard to switch among the different controls instead of having to click. So let's take a quick look at those controls. Right now, I'm listening to the original, to the floor, and I'm broadcasting, or I would be broadcasting, onto the English channel. I've selected English and German as my language combination for the time being. If I click on air, it turns red, and I am live and broadcasting to my audience. I can go full screen, and in that case, obviously, I can fortunately continue to see my control. I have a chat feature here that I can use. I can collapse it, or I can simply make it disappear and then reappear by clicking on the chat. I have a dictionary function that I can expand here, and that can help me with my terminology if I need that sort of automatic assistance. And if there were an agenda posted, I would be able to click on that. But perhaps the most interesting feature of this platform is this. When I click on interpreters, what happens is I can see myself, and as soon as my partner logs in, I can see my partner and hear my partner. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, I'm speaking, so there's a green indicator that my microphone is live for my partner. If I click on this, my partner will no longer be able to hear me, and if I click on that, my partner cannot see me. The interesting thing about this is that my partner can continue to hear me even if I am not broadcasting. If I'm broadcasting live on air, my partner can continue to hear me. But if I need, for example, audio support for a term, I can click on mute, hold mute down, and say to my partner, "Hey, Jessie, what was that word again?" She can give it to me verbally. I can release and keep right on going. No need for a back channel chat to support terms, numbers, and so forth. You can get that support verbally if need be. It also works in terms of the handover. So while, of course, ISO requires that platforms have a handover feature, and as we can see, please take, very clearly, it's a handover feature. But one of the great things here is that I can just go like I would in the booth, and my partner can see that. We can give a thumbs up, no need for a back channel. We can visually communicate. We can either use the handover feature or use the visual and audio cues that we're getting right here on the platform without a back channel. As we can see, my interpreting partner, Jessie, has now joined me in the English-German booth. And right now, she can hear me even though I'm not on air and she's not on air. Can you confirm that, Jessie, with a thumbs up in your little window there? Excellent. So Jessie can hear me just fine. Now, if Jessie were to speak to me, I can adjust my volume here as to how well I am hearing her. When I am on air, of course, my microphone turns red, and I can ask Jessie to please take over. I click on Take Over, and as we can see, Jessie has taken over on the German channel. It has turned red. Now, one thing you have to be careful with on VerSpeak is that if I click on air, I can just steal that microphone right away from Jessie. So it's really important, as always, when we're online or in the booth, to be sure that we're very careful with our microphone management and our discipline, and be polite and considerate of our colleagues. So I'm going to ask Jessie to take over, and she will do so. Now, for me to take over from Jessie, I have two options. I can click on that take over, and when I do that, we'll see that my microphone goes live on air. Or alternatively, I could have simply clicked on my on air, and that would also have produced exactly the same effect. So that's fundamentally how this function works on VerSpeak. We can use the interpreting button down here to make us appear and disappear. I can mute myself for my boothmate. I can mute myself for the general audience so that I can have my back channel with my boothmate. I can, of course, ask her to take over, and she can do that. And I can adjust the volume, and she can adjust my volume so that I can hear both the floor and my boothmate at different volumes. If she asks me to take over, I can either use the takeover button or the on air button by simply clicking on that on air button. When I mute on air, I need to hold it down and keep that mute button pressed. As soon as I release it, I am back on air. If I needed to give relay, I can simply switch my outgoing language to English. It switches automatically, microphone does not go off, and I can switch very easily back and forth so that if I'm working in a bi-directional booth as well, I can do that quite quickly and quite easily. When I do switch to relay, if I had been on the English channel, when I switch to relay, it automatically switches me to the non-English channel or the second channel, which is great because that means that we won't accidentally end up with two booths on the English channel at the same time.
And that covers all of the basics here on VerSpeak. Thanks for watching. If you want more information, check out the comments under this video to learn more about the company and the functions directly from VerSpeak.